The day my parents abandoned us for a fake tech empire. When I was 17 years old, my parents decided that raising children was holding back their true potential. They literally packed up our entire suburban life, sold our childhood home, and announced they were moving to Bali to become high-rolling crypto entrepreneurs. They sat me and my 8-year-old sister Lily down in an empty living room and swore it was only for 6 months. "We are securing your financial future," my mother promised as they dropped us off at my grandmother's cramped, drafty apartment. For the first few weeks, the video calls were constant, but then the money started going to their heads. My dad was always too busy attending yacht parties, and my mom was constantly exhausted from beachside networking events. Soon, I was the one working 35 hours a week at a local grocery store just to help pay for Lily's asthma medication. I would come home with my feet completely blistered, help Lily with her spelling tests, and lie to her face, telling her that mom and dad were coming back for the holidays. They hardly ever called anymore. By month 8, I was clipping grocery coupons, doing endless loads of laundry, and showing up to elementary school plays all by myself. I vividly remember sitting in the very back row of the auditorium, watching her play a tiny tree, and feeling my heart just shatter into a million pieces because she kept scanning the crowd for them. I would send them pictures of Lily holding her spelling bee trophy, and they would reply with a single rocket ship emoji. Then, they would immediately post a picture of themselves sipping champagne on a rented boat, with the caption, "Building a massive legacy for our kids." It made my stomach absolutely churn. My senior year of high school completely disappeared into thin air. There was no prom, no graduation parties, and no normal teenage memories, just back-to-back shifts and sheer exhaustion. The absolute breaking point happened when Lily had a severe asthma attack in the middle of the night. I called them 27 times from the freezing hospital waiting room, terrified that I was going to lose my little sister. They did not answer the phone until 2 days later. "Sorry, sweetie," my mom texted. "We were at an exclusive silent retreat with zero internet. Is everything okay?" She was not okay. She was hooked up to machines, and our parents were nowhere to be found. The day I turned 18, I took every single penny of my grocery store savings, hired a family lawyer, and filed for permanent, full legal custody of Lily. The judge took one look at their flashy, out-of-touch social media profiles, looked at my massive stack of pay stubs, and granted my request without hesitation. 3 years later, the crypto market completely crashed, and their fake little empire crumbled to the ground. Their startup went bankrupt, they blew through every dime of their savings, and they were officially evicted from their luxury villa. Suddenly, they remembered they had kids. They called me, sobbing hysterically, begging me to wire them $5,000 for emergency flights back to the States. "Family has to stick together through the hard times," my dad pleaded, his voice cracking over the phone. I told them I would meet them at the American Embassy in Jakarta if they could just scrape together the bus fare to get there. They miraculously found the money and waited on the steps for 6 hours. When they finally called to ask where I was, I just smiled into the phone. "I am so sorry," I said, my voice completely deadpan. "I am at an exclusive silent retreat and I have zero connection." Then I hung up the phone, blocked their numbers forever, and finally took my sister out for ice cream.